Nike Trail is back, baby. Terra Kiger 10. Oh wait, is it just the Kiger 10? Might depend on what you're looking at. If you're looking at Nike.com, you will see no mention of the word Terra. If you look on the shoe itself, it does say Terra Kiger 10. Yes, the Terra Kiger 10, or whatever it's called, is back. This new version is closer to version 5 and 6 that I loved, and totally different than the 7, 8, and 9, which I don't know what happened with those. Quick disclosure here, these shoes were provided by Nike for the purposes of test, review, and comparison. Any thoughts or views I express here, they're my own, of course, completely independent. I do not share any reviews beforehand with brands or agencies before you see them. Back on the run here. The Nike shoe here does say Nike Trail Racing on the side, emblazoned, all caps right on the midsole there. But let's just get it out of the way. I don't really see this as a racing shoe. With the explosion of super foams, carbon fiber plates, other types of plates on the market, I just don't feel like it has that performance oomph, especially at the spec level that you have here with the Terra Kiger 10. For weight, you've got 9.5 ounces, 270 grams. The midsole is Cushlon 3.0, which I had never heard of before receiving this shoe. Spec stack is 29.24 for a 5 mil drop. I manually measured 30 at the heel, so that is accurate. I talk a lot about spec drops in my reviews, especially my comparison reviews. Does the feel and the ride underfoot match what the spec drop says? Or is there something about the geometry that could often make it feel and ride a bit different? Just getting back to the weight here, 9.5 ounces is pretty good, especially relative to the last Terra Kiger 7 that I ran in. It's way lighter underfoot. It just feels way more agile, a completely different shoe. I think Nike kind of followed the trend too much with that shoe when stacks were rising in that time period, perhaps tried to keep up and really lost the character of the Terra Kiger model. That shoe also had a Zoom Air bubble within the midsole. I don't remember if it was in the front or the back. I know they did move it around. In one shoe, it was in the front. The next version, it was in the back, or vice versa. Anyway, here are the Cushlon 3.0. When I first put them on, it does feel a little bit bulbous or kind of rounded, bubbly under the ball of the foot. If you have this shoe and you thought that, let me know down in the comments. I had to go check the specs. Did they put the Zoom Air pod back in there? But no, it's definitely not in there. Must have been something about the molding. After a bunch of miles, I think I should be around 40-ish or 50-ish after this run. Definitely kind of smoothed out a bit. I don't get that roundish feel under the ball of my foot. The foam itself, it feels pretty dense, I would say. 9.5 ounces is good relative to previous Terra Kiger models, but that's kind of in the realm of high stack super shoes these days. Shoes like the Adidas Speed Ultra, Tecton X, Prodigio Pro, the Puma DV8 Nitro Elite Trail. Those shoes are around 9.5 ounces at higher stacks. So the foam is clearly not as advanced as those shoes. It's clearly denser, clearly heavier, because the shoe itself, the platform, it's quite streamlined. There's no overhanging midsoles or really no excessive kind of elements that would add up to kind of extraneous weight sometimes that you see. So I would say, and based on the ride of the shoe, it's really the foam is denser and heavier. So that is a bit of a pro and con. A lot of these super foams, you know, supercritical foams, they inject air into them, and depending on how well they implement that process, durability is always a question mark. Those air pockets can compress. The shoe may not be as durable. Midsole foam may not last as long, or at least not have the same feel as some denser foam varieties. So really it's the durometer of the foam with this shoe, not the stack height itself. That's one of the main differentiating factors. I'm going to talk about foothold when I stop here in a second. That is another one. So if you take a look at this shoe here, you can see what I say about it being quite streamlined. There's not much overhang over the edges of your foot. It's quite a narrow base. Even under the heel, if you can see, not much overhang there. Slight flaring of the midsole there under the heel, but really not that much. Nowhere near something like the Zagama 2. Even out the back here, you don't have a huge tail. Very streamlined. I really like it. Take a look at, of course, Vibram Mega Grip. Just like the Zagama 2. Of course, a different pattern here. See some segmentation there. Does feel very flexible underfoot. If you're a heel striker, you will notice that kind of adaptive landing. You could see how this kind of flexes with contouring when you land. So if you're landing on the lateral edge here, you know, even if you're going down descents, it does kind of contour down. It feels really nice. It feels almost like it kind of grabs onto the ground. Forefoot, there's some segmentation here. The shoe is very flexible. I'll pop one off in a second here, but it flexes very easily climbing. I have a very consistent, reliable feel under the forefoot. I don't notice that kind of flexiness that you get under the heel here. It's very, you know, I get a nice solid base. That's why I really like this shoe. I feel like it's agile, but one factor that I will talk about right now is the foothold. Look here. So if I flex this shoe, really, one of the most flexible shoes. There is a rock plate, they say in here, 4-foot protection plate. I guess it's this yellow thing peeking through here, but you know, look at that. It's not, it's really more of a, maybe a not super thin film, but it's more of a film type than a hard plastic one. You could see it's, you know, it's not rigid at all. So I don't feel it, you know, I don't feel it coming through to the bottom of my foot, definitely. I feel like it wraps the foot well. It has a good foot shape. I love the foot shape, in fact. It's perfect. It's not overly wide. You can see how the toe here, it's rounded, especially on this side. It comes to a nice rounded shape up front, and it doesn't really jut in here. Also on the big toe side, plenty of space on the big toe side. I don't feel any irritation or rubbing over here at all. No irritation at all in this shoe. It's really great. The inside of the heel, they just went pretty standard here. Bolstering, thick all around, wraps the heel well. Very good heel hold. You can see, I mean, with this, you don't have to do too much. With this amount of flex in a shoe, my heel does not want to move at all. Really great. But if you take a look at this upper mesh, you have these kind of thicker, lengthwise strands and very, very thin kind of vertical strands. And there's, I was looking before, there's really no overlays in here at all. This section here, I think they put some glue or something on this yellow part right here, and that's about the only structural part to the upper, because this is closed up here. This is open. So in terms of breathability, drainability, you know, you're talking water in and out, same with air, very breathable shoe. This part is closed off. So that's your, you know, this little V or A here, that's your only structural element. And I feel like with this shoe, especially in technical terrain, it just wants to, my foot is wrapped well, but I don't feel like it's, you know, clamped down securely. I don't feel, when it gets rocky and especially steep, I just feel like I'm not strapped to the shoe itself. You know, it's very comfortable. The terrain that I'm kind of running in today, it's excellent, very comfortable feel, but just as soon as it gets technical, I lose confidence. I kind of find myself, you know, slowing down by default just because I feel not quite as secure. I just raced the Vective Sky 2 at Heaven's Gate, if you checked out my race video, and the reason I chose that shoe is because of the foot security in that shoe. It feels like completely strapped down, like my foot is like locked to the midsole of that shoe, and just in that level of steep terrain, that's what you want. Like, foothold goes a long way, and I just don't feel like it's there with this shoe for technical terrain. I think it's great. Anything around here, anything that I'm training in close to home, the lower foothills area, I feel like it's excellent. The foothold is really good, really comfortable, what you want in a training shoe, but perhaps not maybe a racing shoe. I shouldn't say it's completely not a racing shoe. I mean, if you like that flexible feel, you know, it really reminds me a lot of the Merrell Long Sky 2 Matrix. I feel like this upper is not as well held. Probably have to do a comp video with this shoe and some other, at least what I feel are training type shoes. That Matrix upper, very secure, full confidence. That's a difference there. But this upper is just way more comfortable, especially in the heel area. But if you appreciate that type of very flexible kind of, it's really like an old school type of ride. Denser foam, very flexible, no crazy high stacks, no plates. You know, if that's something that you're kind of wishing shoes would be, get back to the old days kind of a thing, yeah, you could truly race in the shoe. The only thing is the foothold. That's what gives me hesitation. The feel is great. Like, even now, just a regular training run, this is kind of stuff I would run on day to day. This is an excellent, maybe probably, it could be my favorite training shoe or one of my favorite training shoes at the moment in terms of being not a high stack distance trainer, but if I want to go out and train and still have a lightweight feel, lightweight and flexible, this is really, I mean, this is at the top of the pile. As far as daily trainers go for trails, this foam, this Cushlon 3.0, this is probably what you are looking for. You want a denser feel, you want to rack up miles, you want it to not bottom out underfoot, you don't want it to pack out over time. Of course, you've got Vibram Mega Grip, so in terms of grip and traction, 3.5 mil lugs. It's not going to get you through the deepest and loosest terrain, but for most terrain, it will work fine and it will be highly durable, that's for sure. Honestly, I just love kind of racking up the day-to-day miles in these shoes. It's really a great shoe. I mean, I don't know what Nike's intentions are in the trail game. This shoe is the best Nike shoe I've run in a long time. Probably since those Terra Kigers. I wasn't a fan of the Ultrafly. Didn't really like either of the Zagamas. They could work for some, but just don't think those are competitive shoes for what they're supposed to be. But this one, just really great. $160, that's a good value for a highly versatile shoe that you could pretty much use on most runs. As far as going forward for Nike, I mean, I've seen the Ultrafly 2, and that shoe looks great. I mean, I really hope that shoe is as good as it looks. This shoe right here, I feel like if they could just throw a lighter super foam in there and really like a more secure upper, I mean, really try to just match up with the Vective Sky 2, something along those lines. The foot shape is good here, the platform is good, and then you could have a really killer short distance shoe. I mean, this one is just, it's not quite there at the moment, but I love running in it. So let me know down in the comments, what do you think this shoe is called? The Terra Kiger or the Kiger? Maybe if they drop a little weight, then they should go with just the Kiger. While you're at it, why don't you check out humblerunning.com. I post all my updates there. Got a newsletter you can sign up for. Doesn't cost you anything. I send that out bi-weekly. Summary of things going on, just in case you miss something. You wouldn't want to miss anything, would you? Look down in the description below. Support page on humblerunning.com. I've got my affiliate links there. If there's something that I review and discuss, catches your eye, feel like I helped you make your decision, clicking through those links does help support the channel and doesn't cost you anything. So please click through those links if you get a chance and if you are so inclined. Thank you very much for watching and have a great day out on the trails.